There's grub if you want, but your corner.
Stadium Nagara then, with your main event of the evening.
Right, judge, time. Ready, fight!
Ting against Rob Lisita, brought to you by Tune Talk. More than just a prepaid. Oh, strong left jab from Lisita. Ramrod. But Ting is quick. He's moving sideways, he's moving backwards and throwing punches at high speed. Lisita gets hold of him around the neck and brings up a knee to the chest area.
Lisita told me over and over again he wants to take this fight to the ground and utilize his underrated ground game against Ting because he sees some weaknesses there in his wrestling.
Lisita already cut in the first 20 seconds. He's got lots of scar tissue around those eyes, and they've already been compromised.
Got the clinch, applying lots of pressure as he drops down for a single leg. Let's see if he can finish, and he finishes the takedown. Well done by ruthless Lisita.
Lavishly tattooed, as you can see.
Lots of color going on there for Lisita. He's trying to work from the half guard. Ting gives up his back. Scrambles, and Lisita's good, guys, good control. There's some of that wrestling that he spoke about all week.
Fingers, watch out your fingers.
Good little ground and pound. He says he has a completely different training dynamic over that Australian top team. He just feels like he's surrounded just by his family.
Looks like he loves that forearm over the neck, Lisita, and then throws in the odd elbow just to keep Ting honest as well.
Good scrambling by Lisita.
Keeps his back, he's doing all he can to try and keep the back, Lisita.
Ting's doing a good job of moving and creating these scrambles, but Lisita's just glued to him. Not giving up any sort of position.
Absolutely committed, isn't he, Rob Lisita?
Good job by Ting to reverse the position. Now has Lisita pressed up against the cage. Like how he's using that arm to kind of pry Ting over. Lisita ends up on top. Let's see if he can secure it.
Great turnaround, and the crowd love that.
Anytime.
And a knee to the head, and the right hand and the left as well. And now Ting sees some daylight and gets the encouragement of the crowd here.
Some big breaths by Lisita there. Anytime Lisita's head drops down, you got to be worried about that guillotine.
Oh, right hand from Lisita was spot on, and Ting took that very well. Left jab from him again, not quite as ramrod in its style as we saw in the opening seconds.
Nice little overhand right. It seems like Lisita's expending a lot of energy in these scrambles. Ting staying relaxed and just moving along with him. Good head position utilized there. Nice shrug.
Yeah.
And was able to connect on the exit.
Lisita's breathing fairly hard as well, isn't he?
This
Used
is where
up a
Ting
lot of energy
excels,
early on.
This is where Ting excels. He just outworks his opponents. Once he senses that slightest bit of weakness or fatigue, he jumps all over him.
Goes after the left leg, the lead leg of Lisita, with those kicks to the outside of the thigh.
Nice takedown there by Lisita. I don't know if that was a sacrifice, maybe a throw attempted by Ting, but Lisita's able to end up on top. Ting talked about outworking Lisita. For every punch that he's gonna throw, Ting's gonna throw 2 or 3. Every takedown he attempts, he's gonna scramble out of it and work that much harder than Lisita. But Lisita's controlling these positions very well. Good control, a little bit of ground and pound. We got about 60 seconds left in this highly entertaining first round of our main event here.
What can Lisita do from here? He's being hugged in really nice and tight, taking away that leverage, preventing there being any decent distance on the punches. What he can do is use his forearm just to press and grind on the face.
Good control. See, he's trying to pin down that arm there, Steve.
Yeah,
now he's got him in a slight crucifix. It's a bad spot for Ting to be in. He's got to create some movement.
30 seconds left in the first round.
But I'm wondering about those big breaths that Lisita was taking. Does he have the gas tank in the second and third round? Now he's got his back. 20 seconds here.
Up comes Ting, and the crowd get right behind him. Lisita, who's had a lot of good ground control in this opening 5 minutes, does look a little gassed when they stand up, and Ting comes back with a counter punch to the kick that missed. Another right hand lands, and Lisita looking a tiny bit ragged as the final seconds of that opening round bring us to a close. With a little bit of blood running down the cheek, Lisita looks the more damaged man. Can't wait to get to Rich Franklin for his assessment. Just take us through these highlights.
There's a big jab that landed from Lisita. Here's that single leg. He attempted transition really well to secure the double leg. And this is just really the interesting part. Lisita was able to control a lot of this fight. Look at this technique. He's able to pry Ting over and just out-muscle Ting and really creating some interesting scrambles. Ting's able to pop right back up. Rich, how do you have those first 5 minutes?
I'll tell you, this is a really close round between the two of these guys. They're both equally aggressive. Lisita is winning the takedown, but he's way ahead on the ground with his ground control. Ev Ting's edging out the striking superiority, but the amount of time that Lisita has spent controlling Ev on the ground, in my opinion, outweighs the striking superiority of Ev. I would say that Ev's slightly ahead on the damage in this fight, but just with the amount of time on the ground right now, if the fight was stopped, I would probably give it to Rob.
Yeah, it's ground control that's given Rob Lisita the edge in the first 5 minutes. Don't forget, one championship rules, the judges score the fight in its entirety, not round by round, so this first round is not a closed book. We look at the whole fight, and this fight is really warming up, isn't it? Exchanging blows in the center of the cage. Moisture being splashed off both of these men's heads and bodies as the punches rain in.
You can just see the head down, overhand right of both these fighters. They're just dropping their head and just throwing these huge bombs. Nice little 1-2 from Ev Ting,
wasn't it, from Ev?
Again, he comes right back with a hook, straight combination.
Ducks out of that overhand swinging right from Lisita as well. Very good gauge of his spatial awareness.
Big breath taken by Lisita. There's a little bit of damage shown on the face of Lisita. And does he have the gas tank to continue this kind of pace? You can just see the strategy is just to drop his head, throw a big punch. There's a nice little kick. But he's putting so much into each one of these shots. You've got to wonder, is he going to be able to keep this up?
Well, put everything into that left hand, no question. But Ev Ting just ducked away, and it's Ev that certainly looks the fresher fighter of the two. Also boxing open mouth.
Ev Ting's mouth's open too.
Yeah,
so
anyway, he's got some blood from his nose. I think that's probably why. And that was right on the bloody nose of Rob Lisita. A peach of a right hand it was from Ev Ting. Oh, good right hand! As Lisita came diving in, rather lunging in, but he took a superb right from Ev Ting, and they are battling away directly above us here at K-side. It's Ting's back pressed against the cage. Lisita driving into the thighs and the midriff, gets the takedown. Now what can he do with it?
Nice takedown from Lisita. He still has the, he's still so dangerous, even if he is fatigued at this point. These punches are coming with so much authority and power. You can hear the corner of Lisita screaming he's tired. Trying to give him a little bit of encouragement that the fatigue is mutual.
Right elbow and forearm from Lisita, but he gets on the end. This man, Ev Ting, has tremendous strength. He just fights in the trenches. When he's in trouble, he just comes out with clean, crisp punches. Slightly more sophisticated than the work that Lisita does with his hands.
Ev Ting really trying to utilize that jab. Nice little low kick there. Lisita answers right back with a low kick of his own. Oh, nice little uppercut there.
Oh, and the left hook as well from Ev Ting. It's the cleaner shots that are giving Ev Ting the advantage in the stand-up. He lands crisply and cleanly.
Yeah, Lisita's got to keep this pressure on him. He's got to try to get the takedown because he's getting picked apart. Good takedown by Lisita.
What a fight this is. The Moth's in there again, Mitch. Wanting to get as close to the action as we're bringing you with our wonderful camera work.
This is where Lisita's really showing you an aggressive style, but he's really got to keep this fight tight. He can't let Ting get comfortable there and start picking him apart with these strikes. Nice little jab there by Lisita.
And it's just working on those wounds on Lisita's face, around that scar tissue on the eyes. In terms of being marked, Ting, well, he's got some damage to the nose, no question about that. That's probably why, apart from just general fatigue, he's fighting with his mouth open.
The hands are down, the big breaths are coming.
Oh, Lisita's breathing very hard, Mitch.
But Ting's slowing down too. He doesn't have quite the same pep in his step.
But I think Rob Lisita is struggling quite a bit with cardio there. His hands are down, as you say, inching forward. That's his habit. He will always come forward. I think both men are probably struggling with breathing because of damage to their respective noses.
Lisita gets another takedown, though. That has been an interesting part of this fight, is the takedowns by Rob Lisita and the control that he's able to show on the ground.
It's making it so difficult to score, isn't it?
He's about to slide off the top. Ting's going to end up on top. Here comes the elbows. 10-second marker goes off.
From cage style. Oh, they're really getting behind Ting, and no wonder. Knee to the head, punches, kicks to the head. Lisita's going to struggle to see this round out, although there's only seconds left. The bell goes, and if it had gone on much longer, I think Lisita may have struggled to see it out. Behind us, I look up at the crowd, and they're all going a little bit nuts.
Oh, look at that clean 1-2 that followed up with another straight right. The striking is definitely being shown on display by Ting. He's putting together these punches well, but the wrestling of Lisita is definitely an interesting part to this story. It's going back and forth. The fatigue is on both ends.
Hi, fighters ready? Ready?
At the 10-minute mark, Ting has the decision. According to Rich Franklin, we have 3 judges at cage side, and listen to these fans. I wonder how they're scoring it. I suspect for Ting, there may be a little bit of bias involved.
The conditioning is going to be the biggest indicator of success. Oh, that just grazed the bridge of his nose there as Lisita goes back in for a takedown. This is where he's seen most of his success in this fight. The guillotine!
The guillotine's there. It's a possibility. Oh, he's let it go.
Oh! Lisita said earlier this week, he's like, I got a thick neck. I challenged Ting to throw that guillotine on me.
Lisita said he dreamt about winning by a heel hook. He's got just over 4 minutes to turn it all around.
If this fight goes to the ground, he might have a chance, because that's where he's seen the most success in this fight, because Ting is kind of lighting him up at this point.
A little bit of downtime in the action. Can't really blame them. It's been a furious pace. Left hand from Ting lands flush on that damaged nose of Lisita, who has no choice but to breathe through his mouth. A good left jab from Ting. They exchange kicks to the outside of the lead thigh.
Those are some powerful shots there.
Good left hand from the Malaysian. The flying knee, and again, Lisita's in trouble, but he keeps fighting. He will not stop fighting the Australian.
Ting goes in for the takedown now. Good balance displayed by Lisita as he's working really well to defend this takedown. Good defense by Lisita, even in a possibly fatigued state. He is continuing to march forward and throw those heavy hands.
What a contest. If you like all action brawls, then this is one for the ages. Oh, nice little work inside from Ting, but he got caught with a beautiful left hook from Rob Lisita as he pulled away. Just after he landed a tiny uppercut inside. Lisita just gives him a nod of approval and respect there. The spinning back fist misses, and down they go.
Attempt at a throw, but a good defense by Ting there to end up on top. Lisita's starting to scrabble. These fans here in KL may have paid for the whole seat, but they're only using the edge, Steve.
It's a few contenders for the Power Route fight of the night. This is certainly one of them.
Oh, the guillotine! Oh, Lisita's able to tough it out again. Lisita's on top now. He's got to do some significant damage in this position. He's got about 140 seconds to really start to put it on him.
It's anyone's fight, really. It's that close. Lisita being absolutely screamed at by his corner, trying to muster every ounce of energy that he can put together and pull together over this final 2 minutes. Ting comes back with a slapping left hook. Lisita will not take a step backwards. He'll always punch.
Who is going to reach into their bag of tricks, find that little bit they need to turn it on and swing this fight in their favor?
It's starting to look a little bit sluggish again from Lisita, and that means that Ting will probably pick up some encouragement and land the sharper blows, a right and a left. Lisita comes back with two slightly less tidy punches of his own.
Both these fighters are leaving it all in the cage, and they're just trading shots. Lisita able to possibly secure a takedown, working to take the back, but good defense by Ting.
70 seconds left. How are the judges seeing this? We'll go to Rich before we hear from the judges to get his view. Oh, right hand, they exchanged them both. I think Lisita's probably landed slightly heavier. He goes for the legs, but collapses under his own.
Oh, almost a takedown. He's almost got the takedown, but some elbows landed, and he lands it.
What kind of a difference will that make? But what's important is what can he do with it?
The guillotine. It's always a threat. It's there. Oh, he toughs it out. What a heart shown by Lisita.
Takes a knee to the head and a forearm to the head, a kick to the head as well, as Lisita backs off, and the crowd falling off the edge of their seats now.
What is keeping Lisita on his feet?
It's pure passion and willpower. He probably doesn't know what he's doing, but he's still throwing punches, and Ting is still taking them. They exchange blows again. These two, heroic. 10 seconds left of this contest.
There's the clapper. Who can pull it out?
Lisita looks... Oh, he looks out on his feet, doesn't he?
What a combination!
And
a
the knee to the body. And will that be enough to tip the balance in his favor? Lisita sinks to his knees. Ting grabs the cage to get some respite. The hard work now is on the judges, because these two have given us all of the work that anybody could possibly wish to see. Before we hear from the officials, Rich Franklin, how do you see it?
Listen, the whole time I was sitting here, I just was humming the Rocky theme song in my head. This is the craziest back and forth fight. I didn't think it could get any crazier than the Shannon Warashai-Peter Davis fight, but that just proved me wrong right here. I have Ting ahead on the scorecards in basically every category. They're pretty much even on aggression. Even though Lisita looked tired, he was still coming forward, trying to operate with a game plan, landed takedowns. But off the takedowns, every time that they hit the ground, Ev was either working some sort of guillotine, popping back up, hitting a reversal, and then once they were on the feet, Ev was just out-pointing him the whole time with striking. And you can see the damage on Rob's face, the fatigue and everything else. That's the determining factor. In my opinion, this decision should easily go to Ting.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. And all 3 judges see it for your winner via unanimous decision. From the red corner, Ting.